thank you for joining us. My name is Juliana Larson. I'm a Master Paramedical Esthetician in Orlando. I'm also an instructor at the Artistic School for Nails and Cosmetology. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about skincare before we go into the luxury facial step by step. It's important to know that most people should go to a dermatologist by the age of 20 because many people don't realize that for women from the age of 25 to 29, skin cancer is the #1 cancer. Now, when it comes to estheticians, we're able to take care of smaller things such as hyperpigmentation, small amounts of acne, combination skin, rosacea. All of these things we can treat with different types of ingredients and serums. So it's very important that you're using the right products on your clients. Your skin also goes on a scale from 1 to 6. The lowest being very pale, always burns, #1 on the Fitzpatrick scale, all the way to #6, which is very dark and does not burn. Each skin type has different needs. Now let's begin the luxury facial. Okay, and now we're going to begin the luxury facial. We always start with essential oils, something very soothing such as lavender. One of my favorites is lavender and cedarwood. What I like to do is place a little bit on my wrist and have my client breathe in and out and in and out. I've also placed a little bit of aromatherapy so that when we do our steam, she'll be able to smell that at that time as well, making it very pleasant. We begin by starting with a cleanser that we've chosen based on her skin type and condition. And we gently rub it into the décolleté and onto the face, wetting our hands as needed. Very gentle, light touches and pressure so that she can get used to my hands. Uplifting motions are important. We typically cleanse anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes, and then we repeat the process. Next, we're going to start with mechanical exfoliation. I like being able to use the same cleanser or some cream version and be able to use a very fine powder. It can be either crystal-based or almond shell. What I like about being able to have the powder separate is I can make it as gritty or as fine as it needs to be according to skin type. It's important to avoid the eyes whenever you're using an exfoliator. Small circles are a great way to help get off the small dead skin layer on this top surface of the epidermis. We typically do this type of exfoliation for about 2 to 5 minutes, and then we rinse and begin our next step. Okay, after we have cleanse the exfoliator off the face, we've switched out our water, and we're now going to be placing the papain enzyme to remove whatever remaining dead skin cells there are in preparation for being able to put her under the steam. Enzymatic peels are typically fruit-based enzymes like papaya, and they help dilate pores, which great for extractions. Once you have placed it on, we put eye pads with toner onto her eyes to protect them, and we turn on the steam. Now that we have the enzyme peel placed, I have put cotton to protect her eyes. I actually cut a pad in half and put gentle toner that has no alcohol in it. Typically it's going to be cucumber or rose water, something very, very comfortable for the eyes. I then get the steamer into the right position and I test it with my hand to make sure that it's going over her face completely, and I will be steaming for a total of 5 minutes. If at any time the steam is too much for my client, I can always stop the steam. How is that for you?
It's okay.
Now that it's been 5 minutes of steam, we're going to go ahead and use the ultrasonic scrubber to be able to remove underneath the steam the enzymatic peel. She's going to feel a slight tingling sensation, and we're going to go over the entire face. It's important to know that this can't be used on clients that have braces or heart conditions or any type of metal implant. So be sure to go over that thoroughly with your client prior to starting the facial. The steam is great to keep on during this procedure because it helps keep the skin moist as I slide this across the face. I do not apply it to the middle of the chin because of a nerve there, and it would feel unpleasant. When going around the nose, you can use a little bit more force, as this also can sometimes do some of the extracting for you if there are any blackheads or comedones. Along with metal implants, it's important that your client does not have any metal jewelry on while we are performing this procedure. I'm now going to go ahead and remove the exfoliator and any of the remaining enzyme with a hot towel. Make sure to touch the towel and make sure that it's not too warm because we don't want to burn the client's skin. You can test it out on your wrists to make sure it's going to be comfortable for your client. When you drape, you're going to start at the base here and move up And then we are going to move to the forehead and leave the nose uncovered. And then we're going to compress. Now that the towel is a little bit cooler, we're going to go ahead and use the towel to remove any remaining residue. Now that we've thoroughly warmed up the skin, we're going to do the optional step of being able to do extractions as needed. We don't pop active acne, but we do take care of blackheads, and we can also take care of milia, which are closed pores that you are not able to squeeze, which look like tiny little white dots. I'm going to go ahead and place these little pads on your eyes, and I'm going to do a thorough skin analysis underneath the loop. I have my client turn side to side for me. Checking every area thoroughly. I cannot squeeze this as this is active acne, but the facial will help treat this and calm it down. And my client doesn't have, although she has enlarged pores, she does not have many blackheads. I am going to try a little bit with the nose, and if it becomes too difficult for her, because it can feel like a little bit of pinching, I can stop. But I always let my client know that what it's going to feel like. Always important to wear gloves during this procedure. Every time you remove a comedone, you're going to want to make sure you wipe it away, as you don't want to spread that around the face. There was a larger one right here. Take your time, but be sure to apply firm pressure. It's better to do it firmer once than 3 or 4 times initially, and that's a mistake that a lot of new estheticians make, is not using enough pressure. Once I've done a double check of the face to see if anything else needs to be done, I'm going to use a toner to cleanse the areas that I extracted. I will still be using gloves for that portion. Now is one of the most enjoyable parts of a facial. It's going to be the facial massage. I like being able to use a gel mask for several reasons. One, it has excellent ingredients, and yes, you could just keep it on the skin for the duration, but it never actually dries, so it gives me a lot of traction when I'm able to do the massage, which we typically do between 5 to 15 minutes. I initially spread it out, and then I add water if I feel like it's drying out even slightly. We start by very soft movements like we did in the beginning. And after several rounds of being able to do soft movements, we'll get into more deep tissue, but always trying to do uplifting motions. So again, I'm not doing deep tissue yet because I want to get into the shoulder area first and then move my way up. So we start gently, and then we ask our client how the pressure is. Are you doing okay?
Yes.
Also include the back of the neck. I like to include all the way near the shoulder socket because a lot of people have tension in the muscles surrounding that. Be very careful when massaging the neck because there is an artery on either side that you don't want to put too much pressure on. Also try avoiding putting hard pressure near the trachea. You can do gentle swiping motions, but nothing deep tissue. As I move my way up, I like to be able to massage the chin in a kneading motion and the cheeks. And when we get towards the TMJ and the muscle surrounding it, this is where a lot of people hold stress. I'm going to start doing circular motions. I typically do about 10 forward and then 10 the other way. A lot of people don't realize they clench their teeth under stress. And so their cheeks and jaw can feel sore. You can also do a movement like this, which gets the bottom of the lip, but also goes directly under the maxillary sinus. A lot of people have seasonal allergies and sinus pressure and pain, so being able to place some pressure in this area can help alleviate that. It is also a pressure point. When massaging up the nose, bridge of the nose, follow the eyebrow pattern, and underneath, follow to the outside. Another area that people have a lot of tension headaches from is the temple area. So I move my way up from this muscle here, and right below the edge here of the orbital bone is the temporal bone. So I'm going to start doing typically a 2-finger massage, 10 forward and 10 back. And as estheticians are trained in some of shiatsu massage, which has to do with acupressure, I will incorporate some of that into my massage today as well. By putting pressure on the temporal bone for about 5 seconds and then release. When it comes to the forehead, we can do swiping motions like this. It's important to know that if you've had any derma fillers or Botox or Dysport, it's very important to know that you need to wait at least 2 weeks to have a facial massage. There's also a pressure point right above the brow. The only time that I am not touching my client is if I have to get a little extra water. During facial massage, there's a connection between you and your client, and you don't want to break that connection by taking your hands off. So it needs to be a fluid motion even when you're switching massage techniques and areas. So again, the massage is anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes, depending upon what is scheduled. And the motions that I have shown, I will typically repeat about 3 times. At the very end, I'm going to be able to lightly tap my fingers across the décolleté, up to the face, and this helps increase blood circulation. And then I end by pressing like this and releasing. So I'm going to clean the face of the gel mask, preparing it for a nice, soothing green tea alginate mask. The green tea alginate mask requires a little bit of preparation. You're going to need a rubber bowl, spatula. You're going to need the green tea powder. You're going to need a bowl with the gauze mask and placing toner in it. Once I have this prepared, we'll begin to place the mask. Okay, our next step is a really important one and is used in most facials. What we do is we place a gauze mask that has mouth and nose and eye holes, and we place it on the face. I have actually soaked it in cucumber water so that way it remains attached to the face. This will prepare the face to place the alginate mask, which I'm now going to mix. For the duration of this, I'm going to have my client make sure that she keeps her eyes closed, as we are going to place it directly over the eye. Some clients don't like that. Some clients just want you to be able to do the areas that are exposed, that are not exposed right here, and just do the part that's on the gauze. It just depends on whether or not they have claustrophobia, but it is very, very good for the eyes and easily removed. The first thing that I'm going to do is mix the alginate, which is a powder, Depending upon the manufacturer, you might need to use anywhere between 3 and 5 scoops, especially if you're going to involve the neck. So I like to use cooler water because I have an easier working time. And I add little by little. Until I get the right consistency. It's important at this stage to make sure that all of the air bubbles are out, that all of it, the little powder has been mixed together. So you're going to be mixing it pretty much like this on the side once all the powder has been incorporated. This takes some practice. I'm using a green tea mask on her, which is going to be both hydrating and antiseptic and cooling, especially after the extractions. You don't want it to be too drippy. This is a pretty good consistency for an alginate mask. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more water. And then I do what's called securing your corners. I'm going to place a little bit, this is going to feel cool, on the chin, on the forehead, on the cheeks, and I'll spread some of this out. This helps keep the gauze masks from moving. If you make it too liquidy, it can end up going into the hair. And while it is removable, of course, because it's just a gel, it's not something that your client wants to go through. So please try to avoid the hairline. And if you see any drippage, take care of it immediately. It shouldn't take you more than anywhere between a minute and a half to 2.5 minutes to apply, because this does start becoming a hardened jelly. And once it's hardened, it can't unharden again. So you have a specific working time for this. I am going to place it over her nose, but not on the nostrils. And I'm going to get close to her lip, but not on her lip, as she has requested that we do not do that. But it is safe to use over the lips as long as you keep the nose uncovered and that your client keeps their mouth closed throughout the entire procedure. For the alginate mask, I try to get everywhere I can see first to make sure I've got an even consistency. And then I'm going to take the remainder and place it onto the eyes. This is going to be feeling very cool. Please keep your eyes closed. Place it in a downward motion. You don't want to accidentally open your client's eye. use all of the alginate as long as it is still in a pliable texture. Go over areas that you see that are a little bit thinner than they should be. Reason one, it helps penetrate deeper and you can go further in other areas, like closer onto the neck and chest. The other reason is it will make it much easier for you to clean, as this gel cannot go into the sink as it will clog it. It can only be rinsed in the sink once all of the gel has been removed from the instruments. I'm going to use the remainder to go a little bit further on this cheek. It still should be able to come off in one piece, and if not one piece, very, very minimal areas to clean up with toner. And now we will let that set for 10 to 15 minutes, or according to the manufacturer's instructions. And we'll periodically test to make sure that it's the right consistency. It should be a firm gel that bounces back in order for you to be able to remove it. So now it's been 15 minutes. I've done a little check to make sure that it's firm enough to remove, and I'm going to start rolling it off the face, starting at the neck, and we're going to do it slowly. If there are some residual areas of a little bit of alginate, that isn't a big deal, because we'll be able to remove that after we take off the majority of it. I like to use a firmer gauze that has a little bit more of a rough texture to be able to get any of the dried alginate off. Now, if while you're learning how to do alginate masks, you happen to get some alginate into the hairline and into the hair, not a big deal. It can be removed, but try going through with a fine comb and you'll be able to comb it out of the hair. At the very end of the facial, it's important to make sure that there isn't any debris in your client's hair, any residual product. And we will be moving on with our next step. And now my favorite part is the 24 karat gold mask. It is great for all skin types, including ones that are combination skin, fine lines and wrinkles, or acne-prone skin, aging skin. It has both moisturizing properties, cleansing properties, antibacterial properties, and some of my favorite moisturizers. It has collagen, squalane, allantoin. These are all great products for your skin and extremely hydrating. Not to mention, of course, the 24 karat gold, which helps brighten the complexion. A little bit goes a long way with this mask. It's not like the last one where we have to saturate the skin with it. We just need a thin layer across the face, and we will not be going over the eyes this time. This is a mask that is also very easy to remove. It is by far the most popular mask when it comes to my clients, because they feel like $1 million afterwards, and they can really see a difference in the tone of their skin. As with the alginate mask, make sure you use up every bit of product that you took out, because we don't want to waste any, and we certainly can't put it back into its container. You can put it a little bit onto the brow bone. It easily comes off of hair. And I'm going to make sure that I go all the way across the face, nice and even. And as an added bonus, I am going to place 2 24 karat gold collagen eye masks that go just underneath the eye. They contain a great collagen serum, and they cool off the eyes and reduce puffiness, and have many of the same properties as the mask. After this gold mask is in place, I keep it on between 10 to 20 minutes. This one does not dry, so you can basically stop it at any time, but don't take it off before 10 minutes because it needs time to be able to settle in the skin. Besides the fact, this is the perfect time to do a hot towel massage for the hands and arms. Now, for one of our clients' favorite parts is going to be the hand and hot towel massage. We typically do 5 to 7 minutes per hand and arm. And you do nice sweeping motions like this. You want to go all the way from this portion of the muscle until the very end of it, so it feels complete. By then, I'm going to start taking each finger and loosening the tightness in this area. I'm also spreading the oil around. So this is softer touch before I get into a harder and more deep hand massage. One area of the hand that has a lot of tension is the pad of the thumb. So being able to really get into that area is going to help release a lot of tension for your client. I like to be able to do it from both angles. I'm now kneading with my 4 fingers on this side and this side. Each esthetician has different techniques they like to incorporate into their hand massage. I think it's very important to include a hand massage with a hot towel if you're going to be doing a luxury facial. If it's a facial under an hour, there might not be enough time, but it is an excellent add-on for a luxury facial. I'm a couple minutes in. I would continue doing this for at least 5 minutes, and at the end of this, I'll rotate the wrist. And I always have my client make sure that they relax their arm. And I'm going to rotate here. And then I'm going to gently put her hand. Now we're going to remove the hot oil with a nice warm towel. You want to make sure that it's going to be a comfortable temperature for your client. Is this okay for you?
Yes.
Okay. And we're going to do some compressions like we did with the face and that other hot towel. And then I'm going to start wiping off. But I'm going to leave a little bit of the oil because it has collagen in it and it smells really wonderful. And it's very hydrating for the skin. And I would repeat on the other side. By that time, we're ready to take off the gold mask with a hot towel as well. Now that the gold mask has had a chance to work and we've finished the hand hot towel massage, we're going to go ahead and gently remove the gold eye pads. They are one-time use. And I'm going to place a warm towel onto the face and around and compress. This re-wets the gel mask, so to make it easier to remove. Start at the top here and move my way down. You can flip your towel to be able to have less gold residue on it as you clean. Our next step, now that she's had her luxury masks, is to be able to dry her skin a little bit, and then we're going to place some serums using the ultrasonic machine to tap it in to be able to make it penetrate deeper. Now we've come to the part where we're going to use serums. I like to use a combination of serums based off of my client's needs for correction of whatever issue they have. These two are very moisturizing, but not pore clogging. You don't ever want to apply serums to the middle of your hand, because if you do that, you're going to be wasting product because it will soak into your hand. I will then use the ultrasonic scrubber on a different setting to be able to help gently tap the serums in to help make the serums penetrate deeper. It's going to feel like a little bit of clicking, okay? You keep the edge parallel to the skin. You don't have to press hard, but I try to keep it in place for a second in each area. And we go around the eye, but we never go directly on top of the eye. You can tap down the nose and on the side of the nostril. This ultrasonic scrubber has dual uses and are great to use in a luxury facial, as it only takes a couple extra minutes to be able to use. And now we'll go on to our next step. Next, we're going to go ahead and apply a moisturizer to seal everything in that has an SPF of at least 30. Now there are different kinds that have different ingredients, and you can test them out according to your skin type, but everyone should be wearing an SPF 30 every day to protect your skin from sun damage. Our last and final step is going to be able to apply some lip and eye cream. The eye cream I'm going to place just a little bit underneath the eye on both sides, avoiding the actual eye itself. And I'm just going to gently blend that in until the cream blends in with her skin. And finally, I'm going to use a lip cream, which is different than a lip gloss or balm, as it's meant to treat the lines outside the lip. Now that we're complete, we'll place a little bit of an invigorating essential oil like peppermint or eucalyptus to help your client wake up and feel invigorated. I'm going to have you breathe in and out, and breathe in and out, and then we gently touch the shoulders. At this point in time, we're done with the facial aspect, but the last and most important thing after the client has had a chance to change, get all of their things together, you put together a skincare regimen for them based off of their skincare needs, and you go over how to use it. Some clients don't want to use a lot of products, so we have to base it on how much they're going to likely use the product and explain to them how important home skincare routines are. We recommend having facials at least once a month, And if you want to know more about advanced facials, we have a video from Julia at Artistic School for Nails and Cosmetology on chemical peeling and microdermabrasion. I highly recommend you watch.